But what I want to say about conspiracy is that we are facing the most devastating series of propaganda that has ever hit the American public, or the world for that matter. As I've told, and I think even last year I mentioned, there are three major worldwide conspiracies that we've had to deal with. Number one, and this means that everyone across the world has accepted these as fact, because no one has tried to debunk it. Number one was the phony fall of the Soviet Union. Everybody talks about the fall of the Soviet Union. It never fell. The Communist Party just went underground. They gave orders to the student unions to go forward with the protests. They told the KGB to stay home. They told the Stasi in East Germany, in Leipzig, to stay home and not arrest the students. In fact, I watched a documentary of Russians, libertarians, who were talking about the fall of the Soviet Union and Yeltsin and all this, and he said, you know, the thing we could never understand, as we were celebrating in the street with Yeltsin, which they didn't realize he was a puppet as well, they said, where was the KGB? We never went anywhere without being followed by the KGB, and suddenly they're nowhere to be found. That's because this was a phony fall. And are we also to believe that the KGB could not capture Mikhail Gorbachev in his undefended villa? The KGB has undermined dozens of nations, and we're to believe that they couldn't capture Gorbachev in a failed coup? It's just incredible. And the worst thing of all is that when the media announced with a straight face, without challenging it, that the heads of the KGB, the GRU, the Defense Department, and several other were fleeing for their lives because of the failed coup. And no journalist at all ever asked, who were they fleeing from? Who does the KGB head flee from? Who does the head of the GRU, the Russian intelligence, flee from if he's the head of the GRU? Who does the defense chief head flee from? You see what I mean? It doesn't make sense. But not a single journalist in the United States questioned that. You don't think that they saw that contradiction? Of course they did. But they knew you never talk about those contradictions. The U.S. supported the phony coup because they wanted an excuse to bail out Russia. And they did so with aid and trade. U.S. oil industries came in after the phony fall, rebuilt the entire Soviet oil system, allowing them to become one of the biggest producers of oil in the world. We also shipped palletfuls of $100 bills over to Russia, and that's why the oligarchs, who are the actual real communist leaders, the oligarchs, only had $100 bills when they went to Europe. They gave $100 bills for tips because they didn't have 5s, 10s, or 20s. They were dealing with palletfuls, suitcases full of $100 bills that the Federal Reserve had shipped to them.